They launder drug money. Drug money, Aaron, for the Navarro drug cartel.
That's enough.
Man, this is like the greatest character on the show, man. Ben is such a nice guy.
Because so God help me, if that's what you're doing, I will come over there and I will bitch slap you!
Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for Ozark. This one's going to be doing my next seasonal review for the Ozark television series on Netflix. This is for Season 3, the full season review. Holy shit, man. This is definitely the best season of Ozark so far. This fucking season was so damn good. I mean, it was so good all the way through. There were shocking moments, amazing new characters, incredible writing, incredible storylines, great villains, great everything. The drama was at an all-time high with the family, the Bird family. Loved this season all the way through. Genuinely, by the time you got to the final moment, by the time you got to the final scene of this season, and y'all know what I'm talking about, I genuinely jumped out of my seat, and then the credits rolled, and I was like, you just clap your hands, you know what I mean? Because it's so fucking good, and it's so shocking, and it's so insane. This show is genuinely like one of the best shows I've ever watched in this element when it comes to just shock factor. It'll just make you jump out of your seat at most random times, and you never even expect it. So, to go over the plot of this season, we have a lot. After they, of course, did what they did, Wendy decided that they were going to get the casino, and they were going to do what they were going to do. Well, we start this season, and they are exactly doing that. They've got the casino now. You've got that whole thing going on now. Ruth works at this casino. She works with them, right? Which is pretty crazy. And we get to kind of see a little bit of kind of what's going on with the family now. You know what I mean? You've got, Ruth, of course, she is trying to kind of figure out what's going on with Wyatt because Wyatt hasn't been around. And, well, let's talk about Wyatt real quick. Wyatt this season ends up moving in with Darlene and is living at the Snell house. And Wyatt hooks up with Darlene. I wish I was joking. I wish I was joking. That's right. They are living together, and Wyatt is banging Darlene, a woman that is old enough to be his grandma at this point. I mean, I don't know. So yeah, that's happening, right? That's pretty insane. We've also got the Navarro drug cartel, of course, who is, very much kind of looming around and stuff like that. You've got Navarro himself that is kind of in the background for the first few episodes. You've got Wendy that absolutely is just a absolute bitch this season. Like, she straight up is. She doesn't give a shit about Marty. She doesn't give a shit about anybody else. She's all in for herself and what she wants, and she's constantly contacting Navarro and trying to do things her way and this and that, and she's very much just a conniving, just piece of shit. That's the best way I'll put it. And, well, it gets pretty bad this season because we do get an episode where the cartel ends up capturing Marty, and Navarro gets Marty for himself. Now, this was one of the best episodes of this season because you have Marty in this one that is captured. He is taken by Navarro and the cartel, and he's trying to figure out what, the usefulness will be, if he keeps Marty around. And Marty is not cracking, he's not saying anything, and he tries to break Marty down to such a degree to where he gets him to confess that he's actually not afraid of Navarro. He's afraid of his wife and what she's capable of. And I loved that moment as you got Navarro that's like, oh, okay, that's a start, I was like, man, Navarro is an intense motherfucker. The actor's incredible, I'm just gonna say. The actor's absolutely fantastic. But he gets him to confess that, about how Wendy is genuinely the thing that is scaring him because he doesn't know how to control his wife. He has no idea anymore. He genuinely doesn't know. And you know what the most fucked up thing is she literally has an out. Wendy has an out. We literally have this woman that works at the casino that works with the feds named Maya. And she literally tells Wendy, listen, I can send a bunch of agents right now at that compound and get your husband out and arrest Navarro and the cartel members themselves. I can end this right now and save your husband. And Wendy's like, no, no, he'll be fine. No need to intrude. I'm like, bitch, she just offered to save your fucking husband. Like, what the hell do you mean no? Like, Wendy is just fucking crazy, man. They definitely turned her into an antagonist this season because I was losing my shit at Wendy this season. I couldn't get over how fucking insane this woman was. Like, seriously, like, what the actual hell is going on with this woman? So Wendy doesn't even want to get her husband back. Marty just has to figure his way out of it, and he shows him, how to hack and how to do all this stuff and how to launder his money, and then that's when you've got Navarro that's like, oh, okay, you've got more to you than I thought, you know what I mean? And they send him back, right? And the kids are scared. Obviously, Charlotte and Jonah are wondering what the hell happened to their father, and they act like as if, oh, it's just a business meeting, I'm totally fine, you know what I mean? He kind of acts like it was nothing, and that's that. I'm like, okay, all right, if you say so. Now, I want to talk about my favorite character of this season. And this is a new character they introduce, and he's actually only one season. And he's fucking amazing. We have Wendy's brother that goes to visit the family in this season. He shows up in the second episode. And instantly when I saw the opening scene, when he's teaching a class of students, right? He's teaching, this and this, and he sees, a kid has his phone out in class, and he, collects all their phones. And he chucks it outside into the fucking wood chipper and destroys all the kids' phones, And he, yells at this guy right in his face, you know what I mean? He's like, ah! The guy's insane, and this guy's name is Ben, and he's absolutely fucking awesome. I love this guy. The actor has instant charisma. He's got absolute screen presence like hell, and he goes basically after that to go visit Wendy. And this is one of the most tragic stories I've ever watched. He goes to visit the family, to spend some time with them, this and that, and for the first few episodes, he's comedic relief, you know what I mean? He likes Ruth, he kind of likes Ruth. He's like, oh, who's that woman working for you there, Marty? Who's that, And he tries to kind of get her attention, you know what I mean? It's kind of nice, honestly. We've never seen Ruth actually have, somebody that, actually cares for her to that, degree. He's just instantly drawn to her. He just can't help himself. And I thought it was cute, honestly. I thought it was great. And I loved it. He's kind of walking up to her and he's like, hey, I got this, and she's like, I prefer French toast, and it's like, damn, she's a hard one to get, you know what I mean? And they try to get together a few times. He can't really do it the first few times, and he's like, no, it's not you, it's me. I don't know. It's also, it's happening so fast, you know what I mean? Yeah, he's buddies with Jonah as well, they're good buddies, kind of nice to see. Speaking of, because Buddy died last season, it's nice to see Jonah have another, close friend that hangs out with him and stuff like that. So Uncle Ben kind of becomes that, So I thought that was all really good stuff. Genuinely, I thought that was really great, and his addition to the story was absolutely fan-frickin-tastic. I absolutely loved it. Well, as the season progresses, you got a few other storylines that kind of blossom from this. You got Darlene and, obviously, well, that whole thing going on. You do get Wyatt and Ruth that make amends this season near the end. They do kind of, finally start kind of working together and being on the same page and stuff like that, which was nice, considering what happened last, few seasons, what Ruth did to his father and stuff. It's definitely nice to see them, kind of make up and, make amends and stuff like that. I thought that was all really good stuff. The casino is booming, obviously. You got Mara that's in this season. She's a pretty interesting character. I liked her for what she had, you know what I mean? Kind of working with the feds and this and that. She's definitely kind of looked at as almost like a small antagonist, as you kind of go through the season. Navarro and the cartel I thought was really good. Now, they introduced a storyline this season that I thought was so interesting. You've got a rebellion cartel that is rebelling against Navarro's cartel. And they're gunning down some of his guys. And they end up gunning down a massive dickhead this season that is, he's a clumsy motherfucker in general. He's trying to date Helen's daughter, Erin, and he's trying to kind of influence Jonah to, shoot guns and point it towards people and this and that. He was a rambunctious piece of shit. And while he gets gunned down, Ruth witnesses the entire thing. And we then find out there's a rebellion cartel going up against Navarro's cartel. So there's a cartel war going on, and our characters are stuck in the middle, which I thought was a really intense storyline there this season. And Ruth witnesses this whole thing. She ends up in jail. You have Ben that has to pick her up. Now, on top of everything else, obviously, we have Ruth that not only gets, picked up from the police station, later on, you get the mob that's involved. So the mob is still a thing this season, which I thought was really insane. You get this guy that's kind of in the casino throughout a lot of the season. Ruth doesn't really like him. They kind of, share a lot of insults towards each other. He doesn't really like her that much. And while later on, one night, she's walking outside the casino after her shift, and she gets the absolute crap kicked out of her by this guy, this Frank piece of shit. And she ends up in the hospital. And, now we're stuck in a situation because Marty can't necessarily kill this guy because then the mob will come after him and his family. So he can't kill the guy, but he also can't let Ruth get the shit beaten out of her, and that's what Ben says. He's like, listen, we gotta fucking do something about this guy, And Ben starts freaking out because he cares so much about Ruth. And this is when the shit just starts unraveling. You've got Ben that finds out about the cartel. He finds out about everything going on with the family. He starts getting to know this shit because Ruth, unfortunately, tells him, and then it kind of spirals out of control. He shows up at a event, Ben. He shows up at an event they're having. He makes a big fool out of himself and yells at everybody. And we find out that Ben does have a medical condition. He is bipolar, and he does take medication, and Wendy does warn Ruth about this. And Ruth doesn't take it seriously. She's like, no, listen, I don't care. I love him. He loves me. This and that, It's the only source of happiness that Ruth has ever had. She just wants to enjoy it. You know what I mean? And I get it. I really do. But unfortunately, what Wendy is saying is true. He is out of control, and Ben doesn't really always know what he's doing all the time. And after his freak out, it's kind of unfortunate because he goes and he is locked up in a mental institution, and that freaks him out more than ever. It sounds like he would have rather go to jail than go to that. You know what I mean? And Ruth talks to him. She goes to see him, and he says, please get me out of here. I'm freaking out. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. And you get the officer, that basically, brings him and takes him out of there by the request of no other than Darlene, who actually comes to the rescue in this one and does Ruth and the others a favor and actually gets Ben out of there. So Darlene comes through, which I thought was fantastic. Darlene is actually kind of an ally this season. I don't know how the hell she is, but she is, At least for Ruth and Wyatt and them guys, she's an absolute ally. She is not a villain like she was before. But anyway, you've got Ben that gets out of there, and he immediately goes to see Helen at her house where she is having a picnic with her daughter, and it's really, really unfortunate the way this goes down. He walks up to her and he's like, hey, Aaron, this is what your mother does. She works for the cartel, and she's evil, and she's a piece of shit. And I love the way, he walks up to her and he's like, they launder drug money, Aaron, for the Navarro drug cartel, he's all passionate about it. The fucking actor is incredible, I must say. The actor is brilliant. I just love that. He keeps doing that shit, But anyway, love that. That was a great scene. He storms off, and he's taken back, and you get this scene. Now, okay, let's talk about this. Episode 9, the penultimate episode. One of the greatest episodes of TV I think there's ever been. This whole episode is about them trying to get Ben out of there before they kill him, right? So they're trying to get him out of there. Wendy is out with him for the majority of the episode, and it just keeps getting worse. They can't hide him from Nelson. They can't hide him from the cartel. Every single time Wendy leaves him alone, he is either calling Helen to apologize to try to get back to the Ozarks, or he's running to the authorities. He's running to the cops, which Wendy has to talk her way out of, Nothing is working because you're dealing with a mentally ill person. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't understand the gravity of the situation, and it gets worse, and it gets worse, and it gets to the point where Wendy doesn't know what the hell she's going to do with him, He's always going to try to come back. He's always going to try to return. There's no possible way that she can get rid of him for good. And she realizes the harsh reality of what she has to do, and this gets fucked up. this gets absolutely fucked up. She ends up calling Nelson and leaves her brother for Nelson, and Nelson kills Ben. Absolutely sad as hell. And I was honestly like, I wasn't crying, but it was, they got me pretty close. When Ben was in the back of the car crying, not knowing what he was going to do, the actor, man, just really pulls you into his performance. He really does. Ben is genuinely the best character on this show so far. The way that they wrote him, the way that they did that, and I know that might sound crazy, yes, best character of Ozark so far in the first 3 seasons. Incredible character, genuinely incredible, and the way that they wrote his exit, the way that they did it, with the montage with Nelson walking up to him as Wendy leaves him behind. Wendy just solidifies she is a fucking bitch, okay? Like, what? Like, at least try to get your brother, to somewhere, At least if he dies, it's his own fault. Like, no, she left him for dead. She left him for Nelson, Listen, I know he probably would have come back. I know he probably would have done that. But at least you tried. You know what I mean? At least you tried. But no, she gave up on her brother. And it's absolutely screwed up, man. It's absolutely screwed up. That was the best episode of Ozark so far. Episode 9 of Season 3. Incredible episode. So intense, so damn insane all the way through. The actor for Ben, genuinely, I know he was only 1 season, but I seriously got to applaud him. He did an outstanding job this season. He really did. He did an outstanding job with the character. He really made it believable all the way through. And I genuinely loved it. I thought it was incredible. So, massive kudos to him. Massive kudos to the actor. And I'm going to miss Ben on the show. I really am. He was incredible. Now, the season ends in a pretty insane fashion with that final episode. You've got Ruth and the others that find out what happened to Ben. Ruth decides, after finding out that Marty is just going along with this, she straight up goes up to him and Wendy and says, I'm out. I'm fucking out. I'm done. And Wendy abandons the whole thing. And she's like, okay, like, what the hell are we going to do? Ruth is gone now, like, I don't know how I'm going to go on, And Marty's like, we can launder more money. I'm like, oh my fuck. Like, seriously. So Ruth is out, and she goes to work with Wyatt and Darlene. Ruth has joined the Snell family. That's right. That is how that lines up. And you know what's funny about this whole scenario after what happened to Ben and after what happened to everything else and the way Wendy's been acting? I am full Team Ruth. I am full Team Ruth. And even Jonah doesn't like his own parents anymore. Like, even Jonah is, like, not for this shit at all. You can tell. And yeah, it looks like Charlotte's just kind of going along with her family, unfortunately. But Jonah is not okay with this, and yeah, he is not good with this whatsoever, and Ruth goes to work for the Snell family, and that is how that whole thing goes. It's absolutely insane. You've got frickin' Darlene that walks up to Frank after he beat up Ruth a few episodes ago. She walks up to his car, and she fucking shoots his dick off. I mean, like, Darlene, man, I don't know what the hell. Darlene is crazy, man. She is insane. She shoots a man's dick off for beating up Ruth. I mean, that's more than Marty could have ever done. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's what they're trying to show us, Like, the Bird family is actually becoming the problem. Like, they are becoming the issue, And that is insane. Genuinely, that is absolutely insane. So, that is how that all goes. That is nuts. That is absolutely insane. And that is how you kind of start to wrap up the season. You get Helen that goes to, obviously the Navarro cartel. They go to Mexico at the very end. They visit Navarro. And at the very end, Helen gets shot in the head and killed by the cartel as they show up there. And you get Navarro, he looks at Wendy, he looks at, Marty, and he gives him a big hug, and he's like, yeah, I hope we can do great things together, So, Helen's dead. Guys, that's another one. Helen is dead. Rest in piss. I mean, the woman was a piece of shit. She was. Especially after what happened with the whole Ben scenario, But that was an insane death. That was an insane moment. As he kills her, he hugs the two of them. They're covered in blood. and the season ends. I was like, wow, okay. So it's bar none the best season of Ozark, 110%. This shit was insane. The Navarro cartel storyline was awesome. The Feds storyline was crazy. The mob storyline was insane. Wendy's villain arc was insane. The Bird family versus Ruth now is kind of a thing. And speaking of a thing, Wyatt and Darlene are a thing. Yeah, no, this season left me speechless. Genuinely, this is an insane season of television. I loved it so very much, and I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. Loved it that much. It was a 10 out of 10 season for Ozark. It was amazing. It was incredible. It was just so damn fun. And I loved it. I loved it all. The season genuinely left me speechless at the end. So, that is my thoughts on Ozark Season 3. My God, insane. So what we're going to do with Season 4 is I'm going to review the first half as its own video, and then I'm going to review the second half as its own video. So we're going to review the next 7 episodes in one batch, and then the last 7 episodes in another batch, because they did release separately, so that's how we're going to do it. Season 4 Part 1 review will be first, probably next week, and then Part 2 review will be the week after that, and then that'll be Ozark. So yeah, 2 more reviews for Ozark. Absolutely insane. We're actually getting down to it now. So, very crazy, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Post your comments down below. Let me know what y'all think of Ozark Season 3. Frickin' insane. Frickin' insane. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, guys, and you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos. Make sure to follow me on Dan's Reviews Official on Instagram, guys. And, of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos very soon for Ozark. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
Born in the dark alleys, city of concrete. Dan's reviews blowing up, never taste defeat. Walking Dead dissected every plot twist beat. World gone mad, TV junkies hit a treat. Typing up scripts, marathon through the night. His opinions hit harder than a straight fight scene. Every episode, brain sharper than a knife. He's the beacon of critique, shedding TV light.